Oops. Hi, everybody. I'm here to report on yesterday's Scottish Cup defeat of Rangers by Queen's Park at Ibrox. And to say this was the most disastrous, terrible, disgraceful defeat I've ever witnessed is an understatement. Every man in that Rangers team should hang his head in shame. It was a pathetic performance. Too slow, too pedestrian, passing it side to side, not getting beyond defenders. It was just the usual terrible performance at Ibrox when a team plays every man back behind the ball. And even worse because it's a lower division team and we can't even overcome Queen's Park. It's just ridiculous. The stats, as usual, show Rangers had all the possession. I think we had about 30 shots at goal, 9 on target. I think 8 of them were saves by the goalkeeper, and 1 was headed off the line. And Queen's Park, meanwhile, had 1 attempt at goal. Oh, it was on target, and it entered the net. And to say how bad that was is to tell you that Kelly in goal didn't have a save to make the whole game, but when he had to make that one save, the ball went right between his legs and into the net. So that just about sums it up. A team totally outplayed in terms of possession, footballing skills, all the rest of it. It doesn't matter if you can't put the ball in the net and then you allow the other team to do it the one time they get the chance. So it was one of these games. I can't forget it. It's too bad to forget. I'll give you some more stats. I've been going to Ibrox for over 64 years now, and that is the worst, most humiliating defeat I've ever witnessed a Rangers team being involved in. I'm old enough to remember Berwick Rangers when that was said to be the greatest Scottish Cup shock of all time. Well, that's obviously been overtaken since with Super Cali go ballistic at Parkhead and Celtic losing to Clyde, Celtic losing in the League Cup final to Wraith Rovers. They've all overtaken Berwick years ago, but I reckon this one is easily the worst of any of them. So, one to forget, although how we're going to forget it, I don't know. But I don't even want to think about it. It was just so terrible. Nobody played well. There was empty jerseys all over that team yesterday, especially by Rami. I've been going on about him for months now. He is a total waste of space. If he can't even compete against Queen's Park players, well, everything's lost for us in terms of his ability. And Czerny as well, a Bundesliga winger, and he can't get himself past some Queen's Park defenders. Just ridiculous. And all the usual ones, Drossers, Tavernier, the goalie only had one thing to do and he couldn't even do that. There were just so many failures, so many disappointing performances, and there was no heart, no effort, no real urgency, no toughness about the team. Too many of them were mentally weak as well as physically weak, and this is against a Queen's Park team that's middle of the championship. So absolutely pathetic performance. And to hear the manager say after the game that he was annoyed because we were rushing things too much. The fans thought the opposite. The fans thought we were too pedestrian. We should have been rushing and putting energy into it, not passing it across the back four and then trundling it forward and then passing it back the way, which is what happened too often. So if the manager thinks we shouldn't have been rushing, we really are in trouble. I'll give you another bit of history. When I was a teenager, Rangers manager Scott Simon was sacked. I think it was November. It was halfway through the season with Rangers top of the league, and he got the sack. So if these attitudes were still prevailing, Philippe Clement would have been sacked, 2 hours after the end of that game last night. But as I tell you this, he's still the manager, and I don't expect him to get the sack. I expect him to continue not only to the end of this season, but into next season, because the board seem to have faith in him. So don't expect any dramatic news coming out of Ibrox in the next few days. It'll be all excuses and promises to do better. When you think about it, we go behind with 20 minutes left. 5 minutes added, so 25 minutes to get one goal, and we couldn't do it. And even in the 91st minute, Drossers shows the real Drossers. A lovely pass, puts him right through into the box, running in on goal, only the goal to beat. it goes a wee bit too far to the side. He should still put it in the net, and the goalkeeper saves it. And that was in the 91st minute. But that sums him up. When you need a goal like that, he's never going to put it in the net. And then, even worse, Captain Heroic misses the penalty in the 94th minute. I mean, we get a penalty, and it was a penalty. Drossers was pushed over, so it was a penalty. Here's our lifeline. Step up, Captain Heroic. This is the most important penalty you've taken, apart from maybe the one in Seville. Just put it in the net. We'll get it into extra time. We'll probably win 4 or 5-1 because they were feeling cramp all over the team. So we'll probably beat them easily if we get it into extra time. And he steps up and, oh, poor penalty. Goalie does a decent save. All over. Well, it wasn't actually, because a minute after that, Proper had a header about 6 yards out. It's going in, just under the bar, and the goalie, who had made some good saves during the game, he jumps up and just tips it over the bar by inches. So there's 3 chances in injury time we had, and we couldn't take any of them, although admittedly the goalkeeper did save them in each case, but he shouldn't be anywhere near them. We should be putting these away. So that's one of these games where you know nothing's going to go right. We got our breaks at the end by getting the penalty, and we couldn't even take it. So I don't want any excuses from Captain Heroic or the manager or any of these players. They let everybody down badly. That was the worst defeat I've ever experienced in going to Ibrox. And in fact, if you think about it, in 152 years, it might even be the worst defeat Rangers have ever suffered. Being knocked out the cup at home by a lower division team. Just unbelievable. So well done, Rangers. You've ruined everybody's, well, season probably. Things were bad enough now. I tell you how you can remedy it though. You can actually win the Europa League, and then we might even forgive you for last night. But I'm not even sure if that'll do it. So anyhow, I'll say au revoir to all my viewers. Auf Wiedersehen, sayonara, farewell, dear friends. I'm going to a better place. That's called Firhill, by the way.